Hi, welcome to another Get a Clue Casual Gamer. Today we're going to be looking at another modern classic because I just couldn't believe that in my first 18 videos I had not really touched on a couple of the modern classics, and so I wanted to cover those. And so this is my number 20 individual game video. So for this one we're going to be looking at another modern classic. It came out in 2004, so it is now 17 years old in 2021, about to be 18 years old, and that is Ticket to Ride. Let's get a clue about Ticket to Ride. Clue: C for component, L for length, U for uniqueness, and E for ease. Let's check it out. Okay, so Ticket to Ride. For many people, this is a game that has brought them in to the world of games, away from just, not that it keeps us from playing other games, but it brings us into an awareness of what games could be like other than the same ones that we grew up with, that our children grew up with, that some people's grandchildren grew up with. It's like the same games with the new art on it, but it's the same game over and over and over again. Well, Ticket to Ride is different. So, C, components. What are you going to find when you open up this box? So, I'm going to start off with some ads and the rules. Okay, that's taken. And you have the board. You'll find enough for 5 players. There's 5 different colors. These are little trains, little plastic trains. Everyone gets, I think it's 45 of them to work with in the game. You will have a corresponding color marker to keep score. It goes around as you are adding up. You will have cards. Let me explain these cards a little bit. You will have cards with like a beige, or brownish color back. These are called tickets. Ticket to Ride. Now, if you've ever flown on an airplane or ridden on a train or even Greyhound or Megabus, when you're going from one city to the other, you buy a ticket, and that ticket is from this city to that city. Simple. We all understand that concept. You get a ticket so that you can go from one city to the other. Well, in this game, you're getting tickets, you're choosing tickets, and you're using your trains to get from one city to another. And these tickets cards can go anywhere. The shortest route is just 4, and the longest is 22. 4 goes from Denver to El Paso. 22 goes from Seattle to New York City. So completing these routes gives you that many points. So a short one is going to be really easy to fill, but it's only going to give you 4 points, whereas the long one is going to be much harder to fill, but you'll get 22 points for it. So those are the ticket cards. How do you get permission to use your ticket, your your trains to go from one city to the other? Well, let's quickly look at the board. It's kind of big again. If you've watched the video on Hues and Cues, you'll recognize the size of this board. I think I have that right side up. Yeah, there it is. It's huge. It's actually bigger than Hues and Cues, I think. Let me get behind it and kind of accordion it so you can see it all. Okay, so you're going from city to city. The routes are in different colors. So I'm just going to bring it down to 1/4 here. To complete this route, you need 6 blue. For this one, you need 3 pink, 6 yellow. This one has at least 4, green or pink. Here's a white one that's going that way. The gray are any color will complete that route. So how do you fill this spot with your trains? The other component in this box are, first of all, 8 different colors of cars, of train piece parts. Okay, train cars. 8 colors. To complete this blue, you're going to need 6 blue cars. Or there are some wilds. So you can combine them any way you want as long as they add up to 6. And when you have that, you turn these in and you put 6 of your cars on that route. Right there. And no one else can use that route. That is now your route. But that might not be the 2 cities you're trying to link. You might be trying to link another city over here, and so you need to do this, and then some pinks, and then the next color, and until you connect your cities. Well, I've just told you the game, showing you the components. We have the board, the marker for keeping track of your score, the route tickets that you can pick from, and the color cards, all the different colors to fulfill the different color routes. I'll put those, I'm putting them all back as I say that. And then the 5 different colors of trains and the rules. Okay, those are the components. You got a clue about the components. Now let's look at the length of play. They say 30 to 60 minutes, and that's about right. You could have a short game of 30 minutes, but it could take as long as an hour. It depends on how many people are playing, so how quickly it goes from one to the next to the next. If it's 2 people playing, you're going to have a much shorter game than if there's 4 people playing or 5 people playing. It's going to be a longer game. Simple as that. But 30 to 60 minutes is about right. So length of play, 30 to 60 minutes. It's not a 4-hour game or anything. It's an hour. Okay. U-Uniqueness. Well, there are many games that you need to buy or collect things. There's set collection in this game. There's card drafting. You're getting a card. In your turn, you're going to get you're going to pick a couple cards from the ones that are showing up, or a couple from the draw pile that you don't know what you're going to get. So you're drafting cards, and when you have enough for something, you're going to spend those cards and buy a route, a portion of your route. So games like that, we're used to collecting sets. Even Rummy, you're collecting sets. Monopoly, you're buying things. You're buying, portions that are now yours and no one else's. So those mechanics kind of work there. You have contracts. The ticket is a contract, so you have to fulfill that contract. There is market. You're buying permission to lay a track, and you're building the longest route because there's extra points for the longest route. And so you go from here to get to one city, and your next one is like from this city to over here. So you just kind of like clunk, clunk, and it's one big long line trying to get those extra points at the end of the game for having the longest route. So those are the different things that are in this game for uniqueness. There are elements of it that we're used to in other games. Then we come to ease. How easy is it to learn, teach, play? How easy is it to find? How easy is it on your pocketbook? Okay, let's go to the rules first. This is an introduction. It's just talking, on a blustery autumn evening, 5 old friends met in the back room of one of the city's oldest and most private clubs. So it's just a little story thingy. The rules are this, with all these pictures, and that. That's it. Those are the rules. That tells you it's not a hard game to learn, teach, or play, which is why it became so popular. It's different, yet it's not too different, and it's reasonably strategic. You're trying to create your routes and maybe give a little gotcha aspect of putting in a route that somebody else might have been trying to get to, but you got to it first. So you got them, sorry, I got that route. So there you have a little gotcha in the game. The complexity of it officially is 1.85, which is out of 5, and 1 being old maid, or actually 1.05 is old maid, and 5 being, for me, that's not casual at all. At all. Casual needs to be under 3 for sure, and very casual is under 2. And this is a 1.85. So this is good. This is in the casual category, in my opinion. But I also want to talk to you about the phenomenon that has happened with Ticket to Ride. Again, it's been out for 17 years. And in those 17 years, it has been so popular and continues to be very popular. And people keep on playing it because it's a fun game. It's an easy game, yet there's a little bit of strategy, but not a lot. You can invite a whole new group of people and keep it going. But through those years, it has been so popular. It has come out with so many variations and versions and expansions that you could go crazy trying to remember them all. Even when I bought mine, it had been out long enough that it already had this many different versions, because this is the ad inside it. Even I actually play it mostly because it's me playing on my phone or on my iPad, because I can play solo. And you can't play this solo. You have to have at least one other person to play this game. But because it's so popular, they've come out with so many different versions. The very next year, this is Ticket to Ride, America, North America, whatever. It doesn't actually say it because it's just understood. It's mostly U.S. Cities with a few Canadian cities. Montreal and Calgary, whatever. But it was so popular that the next year, 2005, they came out with Ticket to Ride Europe, which is a little bit harder, a little bit tougher. You have tunnels and ferries and stations that add a little complexity to it. But if you prefer Europe, either one is considered a base game. Whether it's Ticket to Ride America, Ticket to Ride Europe, they're both considered base games. I prefer America because it's a little easier. I have played Europe, and trying to remember because going through a tunnel costs you more of something, going over on a ferry costs you differently. You have to add something to it. With Ticket to Ride America, it's just straightforward. I got enough blue cards. Here's six trains, 6 cards for 6 trades laid out. Simple. But there's also some very small versions that have been made through the years. I mean, you can get all sorts of versions, and most of them require you to have either the America or the Europe for the extra pieces you need. In that case, I played this one for the first time a couple months ago and fell in love with it. And so I bought Ticket to Ride United Kingdom. It's on sale. So pre Christmas sales, the kind of like buy two get one free type thing. So I got the Ticket to Ride United Kingdom, and it's not just because it's the United Kingdom, but it's also on the backside, which is actually the one I played in September and fell in love with, is Pennsylvania, United States, Pennsylvania. And for me personally, that's a draw because I know all those cities. My family comes from northern Pennsylvania and New York State, and so these places I know, and I'm here like, yeah, that's near where my parents live, and that's where my brother lives, and because it has New York, this part of New York State, and all of Pennsylvania. So I just had to get this one because I know I can get family to play it with me. Plus, one of my grandmothers was British. So having the England and Northern Ireland and Scotland one works for my family as well. But there's so many of these. Now this one, it tells you have to have either the America or the Europe because you need the trains from them to play this. This has all the other stuff, but you need the trains. So I have this, and of course I have America, so I have the trains, so we're set. Excuse me. But there's India, there's Nordic countries, there's France, there's Germany, there's so many. There's Africa, which is apparently a very tough one, like America, Europe, Africa. Africa is a tough one. People who've played it have talked about that. But there's so many of them. Though, what if you just want to dabble in Ticket to Ride? Well, that's when they've come out with these mini versions, which are complete games. This is New York City, or actually looking at it, it's Lower Manhattan with a crossover to Brooklyn, but it's basically Central Park South. And here you're a cab driver, you're filling out cab routes, the taxi cabs. And so you have the little cabs, and it's a very small, quick game where Ticket to Ride takes up to an hour. This takes 15 minutes. Big difference, big difference. So you have an option of New York, London, and the newest, Amsterdam, which again, I had to get because there's actually a full-size Netherlands, but that's just going to have to wait for another sale and more paychecks saved up before I can get that one. But I figured I'd get the Amsterdam on sale, which is a mini one, because my other grandmother was Dutch. So between the British grandmother and the Dutch grandmother, I've got a Ticket to Ride that will work for either or. Hello, family. And in this one, it's actually medieval time period or Renaissance, around that time. And you're moving carts from one place to the other. So you're making routes with your carts in Amsterdam. So those are the ones I personally own. There are so many others that you could find whatever one really interests you. But if you're just looking for one, I will say this one, or unless you really want the Europe one. They play similar. There's just a couple things because of the tunnels and the ferries in Europe, whereas in the United States, it's straightforward. It's a wonderful game. It's an easy game. It's surprisingly easy to learn and to figure out, and easy to find. Yes, they're all over. Ticket to Ride you will find in many stores. Because it's been out and it's so popular. You'll find the regular Ticket to Rides in in places like Target and probably even Walmart. You'll find it in Barnes and Noble, and you'll find it on Amazon. You'll find a lot of these on Amazon. You'll find it in, you know, your friendly local game store is going to have a bunch of them to choose from. Excuse me. Online game stores like miniaturemarket.com and gamenerds.com, excuse me, they all have them as well. It is all over the place. You will not have a problem finding Ticket to Ride. Ease on your pocketbook. It depends. Currently, this one is being, I think retail is like $45–50, but it's being sold for $35 and change right now. I found several places, again, like, you know, Amazon and different online places that had it for $35 and change. So that's, and for what you're getting so much stuff, and up to 5 people can play. So many games are 2 to 4, and if you want more, then you have to buy an expansion, which is one of the things I mentioned in the Catan video. But this one comes with enough for 5 right off the bat. And these smaller ones, they retail for 20, and very often you can find them for 15. So these usually run $15 to $20 for these small ones that are complete. The other ones are usually you'll find them for around $35–40. All those other ones. That's usually what you find them, unless you can get them on a sale. Buy 2 get 1 free. Yeah, things like that. Then you can really cut down the cost. But my personal thing is this one. This is my favorite base game. Like I say, there are other base games, but this is mine, and it works, and it has all the extra things I need for some of the other not standalone games. You know, they're not really an expansion. They're a completely different game because it's England, you know, or Great Britain, actually, or United Kingdom. Not even Great Britain. It's the United Kingdom, but you need the trains from the base game. So you need to have a base game if you're going to play this. Now, I mentioned in Catan about these little cupcake holders, the silicone cupcake holders, which I love. Actually, if you have very few pieces, somebody talked about how making these little bowl thingies for just a few things, but you can do a full size. This is a good size for the little cabs and the carts in these other small games. These will hold what you have, but not 45 of these. For this, several months ago, if not a year ago, I bought a bunch of these. These are just plastic bowls, mini bowls. I think they're selling them as, quote, ice cream bowls or something, which is fine. But yeah, these are perfect size for all of these trains to keep them from being all over the place or rolling around. I mean, they aren't rounded, but they might get shifted when you move to do something. So little bowls like this are a nice little side thing to have that can be used for any game. I don't assign it to a game. I just have them in stock so that when a game needs it, I can just pull them out, and everyone can have their own bowl, and we're all set. So that's my little my hint for this video, is have a few of these things around so that you can keep the little pieces from moving all over or getting shifted. And that is getting a clue about Ticket to Ride and all of the different aspects of Ticket to Ride. I hope this helped you. better understand it. I know, I mean, it's been around long enough to be referenced on TV shows and in movies. And if you've never played it, I highly, highly suggest this game is a wonderful family game, family-friendly game. You're just putting trains from one city to another. That's the game. See you next time. God bless. Good gaming. Have fun with your family and friends. Bring out a new game, and I'll see you next time.